Greetings YouTube, Captain Machine here, back for another video, and this is going to be a short one. It's going to be a little bit of a rant, but fair warning if you're not into that sort of thing. And today I'm going to be talking about Games Workshop, more particularly White Dwarf magazine. Now, just to clarify, I don't think Games Workshop is the great Satan of gaming. Granted, they are very expensive for what they do, although the quality is particularly high in most cases. And the new rules for Warhammer are not my favourite, to be honest with you. I've fallen out with them. I think it's too random, but I'm really into the Warhammer 40,000 universe, including the background, the books, the video games, and obviously the war game as well. And the role plays as well, yes indeed. So I don't think that Games Workshop is the great Satan. I think that they could do other things to make their company more customer friendly, and one of the things we're going to be talking about today is the magazine, because I think that could be an source of improvement for them. First things first, I've been buying White Dwarf for about 2 or so years, ever since I first got back into Warhammer 40k, when I first got my Orc army. If you go back into my videos in the past, I'm sure you'll find some stuff on there about my Orc army. I'll talk about that, and I'll probably talk about that again in the future as it gets bigger and bigger. But basically, it got to the point where you couldn't buy it in Dwarf anymore, or your local newsagents, because they just weren't being sold it anymore. It was only being available to buy in Games Workshop. So I started going to Games Workshop to buy it. Now, I'm fortunate in the fact that I live in a town that has one. Now, in the UK, unlike the US and other countries, you tend to find that there's a lot of Games Workshop stores in the UK, absolute brick ton of them. And in some cases, there are more than one. I think Sheffield has 2, and that's only, what, 20 minutes drive down the road. But not every town does have them, or even a licensed stockist. So some people, unfortunately, if it's not available in WHS or anything like that, then they're kind of stuck. I don't know if that policy has changed recently or not. I haven't gone back into I've gone back to WHS for quite some time, ever since I started subscribing to all my other stuff as well. But I walked into Games Workshop one day, and the store owner said to me, you come in quite a lot, you always buy White Dwarf. And I thought, yeah, that's true. And he says, well, if you subscribe to it, it gets cheaper for you. I think it knocks like £1 or £2 off the book price. Plus it's delivered to your door, and it's taken out of your account by direct debit. So it's really easy to pay for. And I thought, actually, that doesn't sound like too bad an idea. So I signed up for the subscription, and I've started getting them in the post. And my biggest gripe is I genuinely thought it would be like all the other subscriptions I get, whereby they are early. And I believe this used to be the case back in the day, but now it's not. Now, Games Workshop stores will get their magazines about a week before I do, which causes me some grief, and some of my friends will know about this because I've ranted about this at great length in their own presence, and they're probably wondering why it's taking me so long to make this video. But when I go to a friend's house to play Call of Cthulhu, or whatever role-playing game we're playing that particular night, it's Call of Cthulhu at the moment, and my friend goes to me, have you read the new White Dwarf yet, Neil? And I go, no, I haven't, because I haven't got it yet. Well, oh, I bought this like 3 or 4 days ago. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know how young both of you. It takes me about a week after you get it for me to get it. And that's just fucking retarded. I'm sorry for the language. It's just bloody stupid. So, basically, I've made my commitment to Games Workshop that I will buy a minimum of 12 issues of this magazine. Granted, they're going to give me a discount, but that's part and parcel of subscriptions. That's expected. If you're going to subscribe to a magazine, if you didn't get a discount, nobody would do it. And they reward me for my subscription by giving me this late. So I'm literally the last person to get this. I mean, the internet gets it first. Most of the stuff that's in here gets leaked about a week before it gets, so anything up to a week before it gets released. Then of course it arrives in the store, and everyone's read it in the store by day 2. That's a regular local, and then I get like a week later. So I'm like at the back end of the news scale as far as this is concerned, and I think it's a bit disappointing. Now let's compare that to another subscription I have, which is 2000 AD. Now 2000 AD is a weekly comic in the UK, and basically a pretty nice colour comic, you know. And I'll talk about this again in the future, because this is an absolute mind of useful information in terms of story ideas or just general fun entertainment. And it's very cheap, it's weekly, so you don't have to wait long for the next story. It covers multiple stories at the same time. It's just all around a really good magazine. I get this about nearly up to a week before, actually is it a week? I get this 4 days before it comes out in the shops. Is it 4 days? 5 days before this comes out in the shops. This comes out normally on a Wednesday, and I get it on the Saturday. So I get it 5 days before it comes out in the shops. And it arrives every Saturday without fail. The one time it's not turned up on Saturday, that was due to the postal strikes. And there has been one other time other than that where it hasn't shown up, and I phoned up and I said, look, I haven't received it, and they apologised profusely. They got another one dispatched to me, and I received it in 2 days. And that, for me, is perfect customer service. I got a little poster for thanking me for subscribing. I get a bit knocked off the cover price, and I get it almost a week in advance. And that, in my opinion, how you do subscriptions. I've got a couple of other subscriptions as well, but this is my geeky one, so this is the one I'm going to wave in front of you. It needs to be like this. This is a perfect example of how a subscription is done properly. This is not. And I haven't even started speaking about the subscription model that comes with it. The subscription model at the moment is the White Dwarf with a wooden propeller in his hand, dressed up as some kind of Victorian airman. Utterly useless. I can't think of a single situation where I would need a model like that. The one before that was the White Dwarf in a spacesuit with a power claw holding up a goblin dressed as a grey alien. I can't think of a single occasion where I would need a model like that. The one prior to that is the only one I've seen I liked, which was the White Dwarf, just as a regular dwarven warrior. You can't get that anymore because they destroy the moulds every year for the preceding model. And you can only buy it if you're a subscriber. So when you go and get your subscription, they say, do you want to buy this model? You can if you don't. You can if you want to. If you don't, obviously we don't charge you for it, and you go without. And I thought to myself, well, granted, I don't want to pay for Mr. White Dwarf with the wooden propeller because I'm not the kind of painter who will just randomly paint models because he feels like it. I know there are some people out there that do that, but the vast majority of the people I play with paint models to play with them, even on a role-playing setting or within a wargaming setting. I don't know. I don't know a couple, but the majority of the people I know who paint models do not paint them for display purposes. They do not paint to put them in a glass cabinet. They paint them so that they can put them on a table and use them in a gaming context. And I think that Workshop need to realise that. They're catering to the wrong market, in my honest opinion. I thought about this for a brief moment, and I thought to myself, well, how do we fix this problem? And the way I would look at it, the way I suggest to Games Workshop, if you're ever listening, Games Workshop, and I hope you are, because this has got to stop. If you wish to be subscribed to this magazine, or even start picking this up next year, you need to be paying attention to what your customers are saying, and I'm a customer. I'm not saying I'm right, but at least it's one opinion, and I'm sure there are several people out there that will keep it. Have 3 models. Have them actually be pieces for an army. Now, you run 3 different product lines. You've got Warhammer 40,000, you've got Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and you've got Lord of the Rings. Why don't you have 3 models for that? So, say for the Warhammer one, you've got, I don't know, an Orc War Boss, because the Orcs came out this year. And for Lord of the Rings, have, I don't know, a Ranger Captain, you know. And then for Warhammer 40,000, have, I don't know, a Space Marine Captain. Because Space Marines always sell and everyone really likes Space Marines. And have that, and you basically, when you subscribe, they say to you which one of these 3 models would you like to buy. And you can only have one, you can't have all 3. So you get to pick which one you have. And I think that would go down much, much better than this process at the moment of giving us models which, granted, yes, it's the White Dwarf, literally, but if you're not going to make an actual model I can use in a context of a game, then what is the point? And this gets me on to the final point of this particular rant, which is this magazine in particular. This magazine is, what, how many pages? 120 pages wasted of my time. this is quite possibly the worst White Dwarf I've picked up in a long time. I say picked up, it got delivered to me in the door. And if this is a typical example of what I should expect from what Games Workshop in the future, I am not going to buy your magazine anymore, Games Workshop. Especially considering the fact that a lot of these, a lot of the rule sets you're putting out in your White Dwarfs are later going up on the internet. Now I understand why you're doing that, because obviously you don't want to punish people for missing out on magazines in the past, and you obviously back issues don't sell that particularly well, so you may not stock them as well as other magazines may do. But the point of the matter is that if the only reason why I'm buying these magazines is for painting tips, which I can get on YouTube, and if it's for strategy guides, which I can get on the internet, because there are 1,000,001 websites out there giving strategy guides for different armies, and the only other thing that's in here that I'm getting is rules, and you're putting them on the web, why should I buy this magazine? And this one is the worst, because this is all about Dreadfleet. Now, if you don't know what Dreadfleet is the mystery box for this year. It's a limited edition run board game, which is a narrative war game as far as this is concerned, it tells me. And basically, everyone thought, wow, it's Return of Man of War, which was Man of War was the old Warhammer naval battle game. No, it's not. Obviously, it's a naval battle game. Obviously, it's set in the Warhammer world, but it's a single, self-contained, limited edition game. When I say limited edition, it's like £70, which is a lot of money for a board game. I think some of the top end Fantasy Flight games come that high, but you don't have to paint your own models, you don't have to assemble them. All that comes with it. And I don't know why you're spending a magazine telling us about Dreadfleet. I really don't, because the vast majority of people who are going to buy Dreadfleet have already bought it. You've only got so many in stock available, and you've spent the majority of this magazine talking about it. Why? Because a lot of people have already bought it. A lot of people who are going to buy it have already bought it on the same day this magazine came out. So the vast majority of this is wasted space, in my opinion. Now, I went back and I found the old White Dwarf last year that talked about Space Hulk. And in Space Hulk, they had a battle report, which was kind of interesting to read. And it talked a little bit about the game and how it progressed in history, and it gives you some painting advice on how to paint the Terminators. But there was other stuff in it. This is very, very much all about Dreadfleet, which is an utter waste of time. Like, let's have a look. So, obviously, you've got lovely little pictures of the fleets. Then you've got, Christ, you see this? You've got pictures of the fleet. You've got another picture of the board game. You've got some other stuff that's coming out, some books and such and so forth. Then you've got an article all about Dreadfleet. That article goes on for, what, 20 pages? Then you've got a little bit of advertisement for the Isle of Blood. Why are you advertising that in White Dwarf, I don't know. You've got Standard Bearer, which is one of the few decent things about this magazine at the moment. It's 2 pages. It needs to be a lot more. You need more columnists. Jervis Johnson has a lot of good things, interesting things to say. I always read Standard Bearer, and you need more columnists like this because, quite frankly, some of the stuff here is crap. Pimping out the hobby essentials, how to assemble the Wyvern you get from Argrove the Terrible. There's, 6 pages about the Oak Kingdoms, which is mostly pictures and a little bit of paint advice how to paint ogre skin. You got some rules for 3 of the monsters for Scrolls of Binding if you play the magic thing. There's a couple of missions for Sisters of Battle. They'll be on the website in a couple of weeks' time. You've got an advert for Black Reach. Why are you advertising Black Reach in here? And then you've got a painting workshop on the Dreadfleet armies, which takes up another, how many pages is this? Another 20 pages on that. Then you've got some adverts for stuff out in stores. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Some more adverts in store listing. Done. It's 120 pages, and I know I sound pissed off because I am, and it's just nothing but Dreadfleet. You've got a 6-page article in about Oak Kingdoms, which The honest truth is, everything that's in this article was covered when Ogre Kingdoms came out last month. There's nothing new in here that wasn't there before, and why on earth there's an Ogre painting guide in this issue when there should be one in the last issue, I don't know. There is some battle missions for the Sister Battle, which are literally just 3 double-page spreads, like that. Why were they not in last issue with the Sister Battle? And then you've got a ton of stuff about Dreadfleet, which I have zero interest in. Because I don't want to buy a self-contained naval combat game. If I'm going to buy a naval combat game, I buy Dystopian Wars. Actual naval combat game with a mechanic, with an army list I can build and buy and paint and expand, or I buy any of the other naval games that I forget the name now. I'm gonna get so much Mickey took out of me for this one. Yeah, I got Dystopian Wars. There's Firestorm Armada, and there's the fantasy one as well. I can't remember what the name of that one is, but I do apologise. Yeah, if Games Workshop want my money for White Dwarf, they're going to have to try harder than that, because that is a pathetic waste of time. I do not recommend that magazine this month's magazine to issue to anybody. If you want to know how to paint Dreadfleet models, look it up on the internet. There'll be somebody out there who's already put a guide on how they paint their own Dreadfleet models. You know. If you want to know what the colour schemes are, go on to Games Workshop's website. They've put pictures up of every single ship that's in the box set already, so you already know what they're supposed to look like because Games Workshop already put it on the website. Why on earth is it in the magazine? Oh, I mean, I don't mind a little bit of blurb advertising. I mean, granted, Games Workshop in its own right is largely an advert. So whatever the new hotness of that month is in the magazine. But usually you get something to go along with it. Some take on what's going on, but why do it to such a massive scale for a limited edition box set, which I have no intention of buying because it's too expensive, and if I ever did go around to buy it in the future, it would be sold out because it's limited edition, and because it's such a limited edition and its audience is already predetermined, the vast majority of people that are going to buy it have already bought it. There is going to be very little sales off the back of this magazine. So, I can't with any clear conscience recommend it. I recommend everybody stays away from this issue of White Dwarf, and if you are out there listening to Games Workshop, I hope you are, but I know you're not. What the hell was that? Seriously, what the hell was that? What the hell is wrong with your subscription company? Why on earth is it I am getting punished in terms of the release schedule because I have put my money down up front and said, yes, I will subscribe for a 12-month period? Because you know what's going to happen when my subscription comes up and I get my letter asking me to restart my subscription? I'm not going to do it because that is crap. The fact that I'm having to wait a week after the magazine is crap. Granted, I'm saving like £1 or £2 off the cover price. What did bloody do? That's like a bag of chips. That's a few bottles of pop. That's... I don't know where to go from here. Thanks for your time, guys. Bye.